going to say, you might just as well say it with me, because you and I believe in miracles. We have to believe in miracles. I'm not the only person who believes in miracles. Millions believe in miracles, and we know why we believe in miracles is because we believe in God. That dreaded word, cancer. Every day, millions look up and pray, dear God, please spare me from cancer. And yet to think of those who are looking to God this very moment, believing Him for that great miracle in their life, the healing of cancer. And I said to someone the other day, you know, I've seen wonderful miracles take place in this ministry. But in some of those miracle services, it is the most thrilling thing in the world to see one after another being healed of cancer. And in each instance, I always say, go back to your doctor and have it verified. And that's one reason why the medical profession is having such high regard for this ministry and the divine power of God in the healing of cancer, because so many are being healed by God's power. And remember again, Kathryn Kuhlman has nothing to do with these miracles, absolutely nothing. And when you hear Mr. and Mrs. Thomas tell of this wonderful miracle today, remember again that Kathryn Kuhlman had nothing to do with this miracle whatsoever. It's the power of God. I've often felt that gratitude was the greatest of all human emotions to express. And the three of us sit here today, so grateful to God for His tender mercy. We sit here today. We'd give anything in the world if it could really express what was on the inside of us. I thank Him for His mercy. You sit here and thank Him for His tender mercy to you. Mr. Thomas, here's your wife, having been given just 8 months or less to live with cancer. She sits here a well woman. Did you ever believe that God would do this for you, Mr. Thomas?
I was praying a lot. I was on my knees an awful lot.
Good Presbyterians, right?
A good Presbyterian.
But you had never seen a miracle?
Never seen a miracle. But
Gone to church all of your life?
Yes.
Did you ever feel if there would come a time in your life when you would need a miracle?
No, I thought I had everything. I thought I had everything.
A successful businessman?
A successful businessman, retiring early in life, and
Yeah.
I thought I had everything. But I was poor.
Entirely self-sufficient.
Yes.
You know, I looked at your wife a few minutes ago and see what people don't understand, and that is the fact they think that we have take time, you know, to hear the complete testimony. Do you realize that I'm really talking to you people for the very first time? And when I complimented your wife on her beautiful hairdo just a few minutes ago, I was shocked when you told me that she was absolutely bald.
Absolutely bald.
Before her healing.
Right, right.
And I want the whole world to know that every hair on your head is your own hair, right?
That's right.
And it came
And
in
it's
curly, too.
No.
It used to be
Yes.
straight. It came back curly.
When God does a thing, He does it right, doesn't He?
That's right.
Now, everybody in the Portland, Oregon area knows you because you were very prominent people there, and you, a businessman. You still have a son there who owns a
Golf course.
And everybody knows you people.
Oh, yes.
Are you sure that they know you? And your wife had cancer of what?
It started in her lung, on the outer lining of her lung. And from there, it just kept spreading.
Right on through her
Spread
whole
all
body.
through her body. And when I went to the doctor one time and said, "Doctor, how's my wife doing?" And he said, "Why, Mr. Thomas, your wife isn't going to live." And it came as a real shock to me. I said, "Well, doctor, how long?" Well, he said, "We haven't been giving her curative medicines for a month now, and but we hope that we can keep her alive 8 months." And I said, "Doctor, is there any place in the world I can take her?" He said, "No, Mr. Thomas, I'm sorry, it's too late."
And she was in what hospital?
Well, she was in two different hospitals in different occasions.
Providence. I was in the hospital 3 times. And then when the doctor said I only had 8 months,
Yeah.
they were giving me chemotherapy. And my family said, "Well, we're not going to stop at this." And my son got me an appointment at the University of Oregon Medical School, their top cancer research doctor. And he verified what my doctor had said. And that was the day I came home and I had made a decision. We had been watching you on Sunday morning at 8 o'clock.
From the Portland
Yes.
station.
And my husband would say to me, "I would like to fly you to Pittsburgh." And I would say, "No, if God's going to heal me, he'll heal me at home." But that day, I felt I must do this for my husband. So I said, "Make plane reservations. We're going to Pittsburgh."
You had never seen a miracle.
Oh, no.
Never.
Gone to Presbyterian Church all of your life and had never seen a miracle.
Our doctrine didn't call for that in this day and age.
Well, there are a lot of Presbyterians who do believe in it now. Isn't it amazing how quickly one's theology can change, you know,
yes,
when you stand face to face with a great need. And so just watching the telecast there from the Portland station, your husband said, "Let's go to Pittsburgh," because you knew we were having miracle service in the Presbyterian church over there.
Yes.
Right.
So in 2 days, we were on the plane for Pittsburgh,
No.
my husband and my son and I. And we arrived on Thursday afternoon, and the service was at 9 o'clock the next morning. So my son said, "Well, I'm going to get up at 4 o'clock and be the first one at the door." And when we got there at 5 o'clock in the morning, he was way down on the sidewalk. There must have been 200 or 300 people on the porch and
You had
steps
never
of
gone
the
to church like that in your life before. That was a new experience.
Yes.
And he thought it could be the very first one there.
Yes.
4 o'clock in the morning.
Yes.
Well, what was the service like to you? Was it anything like you expected?
Well, it was beautiful. It was wonderful. We saw so many miracles, so many miracles. And one of the first ones was a little boy, his club feet straightened out. And it just kept on. And, you know, we just,
You forgot about yourself.
yes. And we all 3 had such a spiritual blessing, even though I wasn't healed there.
Did you get discouraged?
No.
You just got blessed spiritually.
Yes.
You see, our son was an elder in the Christian church, the Church of Christ, and that is...
He hadn't seen anything like this
No.
either.
But our lives changed right then, even though my wife wasn't healed at that time.
So all 3 of you got a spiritual
tremendous.
experience
We couldn't
in that
begin to
very
tell.
first service. But you weren't discouraged, though,
Oh,
when you left not having been healed.
No.
Did you think, well, now maybe, what did you think? You weren't disappointed?
No, not really.
But you had
because
flown all the way from Portland,
That's
Oregon
right.
to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and you went back knowing you hadn't been healed, but you felt so good on the inside.
That's
Yeah,
right.
she had fallen down on the plane. This is when she started to go down. As she got tired, she'd fallen down on the plane, and then she'd fallen down in the hotel. And then we had to get the cab driver to take her to the service.
A block and a half.
A block
I
and a
couldn't
half.
even walk with his
And
help.
from then on, she deteriorated a little, let's say.
But
we
God
believed.
didn't fail you, and you
Oh, we
didn't give up.
believed. Oh, no, we believed.
So
met.
when I went to Seattle, Washington, in the arena over there, you mean you were there?
We were
We
there.
sure were
And
there.
by this time she was in a wheelchair.
That's
Oh,
right.
She
yeah.
was that far gone.
She had lost the use of her legs and her hands, and she weighed 104 pounds. She lost all her hair, and she couldn't talk. She had lost her voice. She could only whisper when she went, when I went to talk with her, I'd have to get up to her ear.
You mean this woman sitting here right now?
That very girl.
You mean this lovely lady
Yes,
had lost the use of her legs,
yes.
her arms, and totally bald,
Yes.
evidently from the medicine, right?
Yes, I would say from the chemotherapy.
And unable to speak except in just a whisper.
They were given a pretty strong dosages to keep her going.
So by this time, they gave her a very short time to live, right?
Yes, yeah.
So when you came to Seattle, that was your last hope. But still, you hadn't given up.
Oh, no. We would have
And
kept going.
And our whole family was there.
In Seattle?
Yes.
From Portland to Seattle.
That's right. Our son and his wife, our youngest daughter and her husband, and our oldest daughter had flown up from Anaheim.
The whole family came
The
together.
whole family. And
Maybe that's the reason you weren't healed in the First Presbyterian Church in Pittsburgh. God
sure
wanted the
of
whole
that.
family there.
Especially our oldest daughter.
we know that was the reason.
He's a good God.
Oh, he's wonderful.
He's perfect wisdom. He
Our
knew
daughter
why.
had gone a little stray for 3 years, and we had been praying for her very strongly to come back. And this was the time. Pittsburgh wasn't it. And she was there and saw her mother healed.
Tell me, did you almost not get in Seattle?
We were there early.
Oh, early again.
Really?
You knew what to expect.
Yes.
We were there at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and of course, I had asked my son, I said, I'd like you to go with me in the wheelchair section. I'm afraid your dad would go to pieces if I was healed. And he was getting a little emotional, since I had been ill. And so he went with me in the
sure.
wheelchair section.
You didn't want to lose your wife. You loved her.
I was on my knees a lot.
It pays, doesn't it?
Oh, yes.
So we got there at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and the service was at 6 in the evening. And the wheelchairs there were all at the back of the auditorium. And my son was sitting beside me on a camp stool. And my husband and our youngest daughter and her husband were in front of the wheelchair section. And our oldest daughter and daughter-in-law were up in the balcony. Well, midway through the service,
Oh, I know what you're gonna
I
say.
didn't hear you say there was a healing for terminal cancer in the back of the auditorium. I had been praying for the people around me. There were so many young people, so many I felt needed help worse than I did. And so I didn't hear you say it. I know my family heard it. And all of a sudden, among all those wheelchairs, there must have been 200 wheelchairs or more. All of a sudden, here appeared your worker Maggie,
Yeah.
and she
Precious Maggie.
and she asked me what I was there for, and I whispered cancer, and she said stand up, and I stood up.
You remember standing up?
Yes, I stood up. I walked past the other wheelchairs, and I started up in front.
Were you amazed to find yourself walking?
Yes, my hands went out in front of me like this. And I can remember saying, I'm walking, I'm walking. And up I went to the front. And up the steps. There must have been 5 or 6 steps there. And my family had had a terrible time getting me up any steps. Took 2 of them to drag me up any steps. And here I walked up the steps and onto the stage. And you asked me what had happened.
Of course, you were a perfect stranger to me.
Yes.
And no pain in your body whatsoever.
No. And I started to tell you what had happened, and my voice was just as normal and
She's
as
been talking
clear.
ever since.
Were you amazed to hear your own voice?
Yes.
Where were you all this time?
I was behind a lot of tears.
I guess that's right, Mr. Thomas. Was it hard for you to believe what you were seeing?
I was just thanking God continuously.
Yeah, I guess that's right. Yeah, I guess that's right. The whole family was weeping.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Were you instantly healed?
Yes, I was instantly healed.
You just got right up out of that wheelchair.
That's right. That's
Was
right.
there strength there immediately?
Yes.
Were you amazed to find your hands up in the...
Yes.
How high did you hold them?
I held them like this, all the way up to the front.
And you could not have even lifted your hands.
No, no.
What did the family do? Everybody cry?
They were all crying except my son and I. He had followed me up to the stage. And you turned to him and you said, "So you're the son. Did you believe your mother was going to be healed?" He said, "I sure did."
What happened after the service then? What'd you do with the wheelchair? Fold it up and away you went?
And I walked.
You told her to push it back herself, so she pushed it back.
They had brought my wheelchair up to the front. You told me walk down the steps and push your wheelchair back, and I did.
Did you go back to the doctor?
We sure did.
And what happened? He couldn't...
Well, the doctor said, when we said we'd like another examination, he looked at us kind of odd, and he says, "Oh, no." We said, "Why, doctor?" And he says, "There's no use. There's no use." And he wouldn't give another examination. He says, "We have all the x-rays." So we went about 300 miles from home to this man was a German diagnostic radiologist. And we were there 8 days. We spent about 4 days in the lab and in the doctor's office. And he gave her 36 x-rays, liver scans, and a nuclear research, and abdominal, and so forth. And then the analysis was no cancer, only scar tissue where possibly cancer had been.
She's had every test possible.
And since then, we've just got back from Portland 2 weeks ago, and we had another examination, and all through it, and the doctor walked out and he raised his hand in the air. He says, "Oh, praise God, Mrs. Thomas, you are a walking miracle."
We believe in miracles, don't we?
We believe in miracles.
And we know why we believe in miracles.
Yes.
Do you understand now why I say go back to your doctor and have every test possible? Do you understand now why the medical profession has such high regard for the ministry? It's not because of Kathryn Kuhlman. It's because of the supernatural power of God. Always know that I had nothing to do with this miracle. I didn't know you folk, but God knew. Has it changed your life?
Oh, has it changed my life? I used to fish all over the country for fish, and now I just fish for men. It's more fun. I'm so happy.
And a greater reward, too.
Oh, I just wish I could do more.
You sit here. One of those miracles that we talk about. One of those miracles, a living miracle. Do you understand what we're trying to say? Sometimes the human vocabulary is so limited when you talk about these things, the most important things in the world. There may come a time when you may need a miracle. Nothing is hopeless. Nothing. Even when the doctor says medical science can do no more. Even when the doctor says we've done everything possible. They have done just exactly that. But there's one who knows no such thing as an impossibility. Go to him for that